15-Minute Mondays, your kickstart to week high-energy 15-minute episode on the Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Daniel Greg Johnson. Let's get right into it. Hello tribe, welcome back on the Success Blueprint. It is that time of the week. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and thank you for coming back and giving me some time of your day. I value you for that. I appreciate you for that. But let's get right into it. You're angry about a promise they never made. This is a big one, it's important, and I hope that you are ready to strap in. Let's get going. A surprising amount of resentment is anger at someone for failing a test they were never told they were taking. You expected the call, the help, the apology, or the initiative. It didn't happen. So you turned their failure into a verdict. If they cared, they would have known. But perhaps they didn't fail a promise. Perhaps they failed an expectation that existed only in your head. That doesn't make your need unreasonable. It makes the contract invisible. And invisible contracts create very real punishment for agreements nobody actually made. Let's look at this a bit more closely. This episode is for anyone who feels overlooked, unsupported, or taken for granted, yet finds direct asking strangely difficult. You may fear rejection or conflict. You may worry that asking makes the gesture less genuine. Or perhaps you believe love, loyalty, and good leadership should come with mind reading built in. Today we're going to expose how private desire becomes an invisible contract and how that contract turns disappointment into resentment. And by the end, tribe, you'll be able to identify one unspoken expectation, turn it into a clear request, hear an honest yes or no, and respond without withdrawing, keeping score, or making another person pay. And why does this matter? Why is this important? Unspoken expectations rarely stay silent. They leak into tone, sarcasm, distance, and selective generosity. At home, affection becomes conditional. At work, people are judged against standards they were never given. In families, small disappointments harden into a case file. Every missed gesture becomes further proof that you matter less than you thought. The hidden cost is not only resentment, it's corrupted information. The other person cannot respond intelligently to a need they cannot see, while you cannot learn whether they are unwilling, unable, or simply unaware. So both sides act on fiction. One believes everything is fine, the other believes the relationship has already delivered its verdict. That gap compounds until an apparently minor incident carries the emotional weight of 50 conversations that never happened. So what's the problem here? The common story is I shouldn't have to ask. If my partner loved me, my friend valued me, or my colleague respected me, they would notice. Asking seems to cheapen the act. A spontaneous gesture feels like evidence of care. A requested gesture can feel like compliance. But the underlying mechanism is an invisible contract. I privately expect something from you. You unknowingly fail. I interpret that failure as evidence that you don't care. Then I punish you through silence, coldness, criticism, reduced effort, or a sudden explosion about something much smaller. The problem isn't having expectations. It's promoting a hope into an obligation without the other person's knowledge or consent, then treating your interpretation as fact. Let's make this a little bit more visible. Here's the trap. You stay silent to avoid rejection, but silence makes disappointment more likely. When the person misses the need, you feel confirmed. See, I can't rely on them. You withdraw, hoping they'll notice. They sense the distance but misread its course. They become defensive too. Now, their reaction appears to prove your story. What looked like self-protection has manufactured the very disconnection you feared. So ask yourself, am I angry because someone broke a clear agreement or because they failed to obey a rule I never disclosed? Those are different injuries. One calls for accountability, the other calls for communication. Confusing them turns disappointment into a prosecution in which the accused has never seen the charge sheet. But let me give you a 5-step toolkit to get out of this, avoid it, and do it better. Step number 1, catch the punishment. Start with behavior. Notice where you've become colder, sharper, less generous, or unusually irritated. And then ask, what did I want this person to do that I never clearly requested? Be precise. Support me is vague. Ask how the presentation went before changing the subject. Is observable. Resentment often remains after the expectation has disappeared from view. You remember the hurt but forget the hidden rule. Naming the withheld request separates the event from your interpretation. And then write, I expected them to, and when they didn't, I decided it meant. That second blank reveals the story driving your reaction. Number 2, sort desire, request, and agreement. A desire is something you want. A request is a desire you have communicated. An agreement exists only when the other person has understood and accepted it. Stop calling all three an expectation as if they carry equal authority. This restores fairness. You may want something without the other person owing it to you. You may ask and they may negotiate or decline. Once they agree, accountability becomes legitimate. Use this test. Did I say it clearly? Did they understand? Did they agree? If any of the answers to those is no, you don't yet have a broken commitment. You have missing information. Step number 3, make the request clean. Say what you want without smuggling in accusation or a loyalty test. A clean request is specific and genuinely answerable. Instead of, you never help me, try, would you handle supper on Tuesday and Thursday? Instead of, nobody keeps me informed, try, please send the revised figures by 1400 on Wednesday. Even if 2 items are provisional, clarity reduces competing interpretations. Remove if you cared, and I shouldn't have to ask. They turn a request into trial. Try, I've realized I was expecting this without saying it. What I'd like is, are you willing? That owns your silence without apologizing for the need. Step number 4, and this is a big one, make no safe to say. If only yes is emotionally safe, you haven't made a request, you've issued a demand with polite grammar. Ask, then leave room for an honest answer. If the person hesitates, invite the truth. If that doesn't work, tell me what is realistic. Reluctant compliance breeds resentment on both sides. A truthful no gives you useful data. Perhaps the timing is wrong, capacity is missing, or the relationship cannot offer what you need. You can negotiate scope, timing, or an alternative. Don't claim to welcome honesty and then punish the person for giving it. That would just create a big rift, trust issues, and disengagement. Step number 5, address disappointment directly. No silent treatment, no emotional abuse. That doesn't work. Clear requests can be declined, and agreements can be broken. Speak to the event before building a character judgment around it. Try. We agreed that you'd call before making the change. That didn't happen. What got in the way? And what do we need to decide now? In a personal relationship, I heard your no, and I'm disappointed. I don't want to punish you for being honest, but I do need a moment to process it. Direct disappointment is cleaner than delayed punishment. It helps you test whether this is a one-off miss, a capacity problem, different priorities, or a pattern requiring a boundary. Clarity doesn't guarantee the answer you want. It gives you an answer you can work with. And why does this matter, tribe? What's the deeper meaning here? Beneath unspoken requests is often a painful belief. If I have to ask, it doesn't count. We want spontaneous knowing because it feels like proof that we are seen. But adult relationships are not built by perfect anticipation. They are built by the courage to be knowable. Asking exposes you. The other person may say no or reveal a limit you would rather not face. Refusing to ask doesn't remove that risk. It replaces an honest answer with a private story. Responsibility here is not self-blame. You are not responsible for another person's carelessness or broken agreements. You are responsible for making your needs available to reality, then deciding what their response tells you. Let me give you some stories from recent coaching engagements without mentioning context. Imagine a senior manager who expects her team to escalate problems early, but has never defined early. When a risk reaches her late, she starts checking every detail. The team responds by hiding more. She then defines which risk must be raised, through which channel, and by when. Accountability finally has a shared reference point. That's a big one here. Now imagine someone who always organizes family birthdays and expects the same in return. Their birthday arrives with a short message and no plan. They say it's fine, while making everyone feel that it isn't. A different choice is, birthdays matter to me. I'd love dinner on Saturday, and I'd like you to arrange it. Are you willing? The answer may disappoint them, but it addresses the real need, not a guessing game. And let me give you some advanced strategies very quickly. First, separate pattern from incident. One missed request may need repair. A repeated breach after clear agreements may reveal a reliability problem. Don't use communication skills to explain away consistent behavior. Ask, what does the pattern, not my hope, tell me? Second, agree on default for recurring friction. Couples can define social plans, household labor or quiet time. Teams can define response times, decision rights, and escalation thresholds. A good default prevents renegotiation under pressure. And third, watch for covert traits. I did this for you, so you should do that for me. Generosity becomes manipulation when repayment was never discussed. Before giving, ask, would I still choose this if nothing came back? And if not, state the exchange openly. Hidden invoices damage trust because the price is revealed only after payment is overdue. Let me give you your weekly challenge after all of this. Before next Monday, choose one person and one unspoken expectation. Write what you wanted, what you made their failure mean, and whether it was requested or agreed. And then say, I've realized I was expecting something without saying it. What I'd like is, are you willing? Record whether you received a yes, a no, or a negotiation. What became clearer and whether the resentment shifted. The evidence is not getting your way. It is replacing guesswork with usable truth. That's the big deal here, and that will change the game. And that's it, tribe. Take the challenge before next Monday, make the request you've been hoping someone would somehow detect, and notice what changes when you stop testing the relationship in secret. Clarity may feel vulnerable, but it is kinder than punishment without disclosure. And if this episode was really, really valuable, then please copy the episode link, share it with 3 people on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, TikTok, wherever you communicate. Help me to grow the tribe so that we can get better at this thing called life and business. And I really am very grateful for that. And let's not forget our sponsor, Doc Marty Mushrooms. Amazing products for clarity, for sleep, for anxiety, for many, many things. Please head over to docmarty.com. Docmarty.com's products are really amazing. They have helped me with my cognitive load, with the learning abilities, studying abilities, currently doing a lot of difficult exams and studies. And Doc Marty's mushrooms have added tremendous value to my focus, to the clarity, to the memory that I have and how I can recall text and information. So really, really great. Head over to docmarty.com and with the discount code DAN20, DAN20, you will receive a 20% discount on your first purchase. And in closing, tribe, people cannot honor contracts they have never seen. Say what you need, let them answer honestly, then deal with the truth, not the story silence created. I'm Daniel Craig Johnson. This is 15-Minute Mondays, part of the Success Blueprint. Until next time, stop setting secret tests, start having honest conversations. And I leave you with my promise, I'll be back. Take care.